You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Hello and welcome to Business Access Television's coverage of the GoldenTourism Awards. We're coming to you from Montego Bay, St. James, where it's a very special day. The Ministry of Tourism and the Jamaica Tourist Board are honoring individuals who have dedicated over 50 years of service to building the local tourism industry. I'm Keneal Gale and I'll be your host, so stay tuned for the highlights. Okay, so we told you that the Ministry of Tourism and the Jamaica Tourist Board, they are honoring individuals who have dedicated over 50 years of service to the tourism industry. And speaking with me now is Melvin Williams, and he's been in the industry for how long?
58 years.
58 years. What's the major change you would say from when you started until now?
We have quite a bit of changes. I've seen a vast more tourists coming into the country than ever before. We have a lot more people get involved in the industry than ever before. I find that people are more better off in a living condition than before, since the industry has been grown to this dimension.
What are some of the milestones you've seen? Because you've been in it for decades. So what are some of the milestones that you've seen over the years?
In the last 15 years, it has developed very fast, rapidly. I have seen tremendous amount of hotels that has been built. The Spanish hotels, so many Spanish hotels with so many bedrooms. I've seen so many hotels built right across the country, especially in the North Coast. Our beaches have been developed, and cruise ships has been more than ever before in the past. And we have a lot more people, operators, tourist operators, drivers, who involved in this industry that been able to make a better living for their family than in the past. So most of them, I discovered that they can have a better home, better school for their kids, able to send their kids to school. And even though it has been hard sometimes, but yes, they're able to do it because of the industry.
Let's talk a little bit about your journey. Tell us a little bit about where you started and what are some of the jobs that you've done within the industry.
Okay, I started at the Roundel Hotel in 1959, and I worked there until 1963. I was sent to London by Mr. John Pringle, who was the owner and director of the Roundel Hotel, to our Park Lane Hotel in Dorchester, London. And I worked there for 18 months. Then I came back to Roundel in 1964 and picked up my position there, and I worked there until 1970, where I started a transportation business of my own, carrying the tourists in my own taxi service. Then I leave there in 1970 to our Martin Tours, which was the only tour company then in Montego Bay and Jamaica. I worked with Martin Tours until 1976, when they moved out of the country. And then I was a member of JUTA from 1974, and since then, 1976, I went to the Sanders, where it was Royal Caribbean. I went to Royal Caribbean Hotel, which is now Sanders Royal, and I'm there until this very day from 1976.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us, and congratulations again. And on behalf of Jamaica, we thank you for your service.
And I've been able to school all my 6 kids, give them university training, and I think I am privileged to be here this evening to share with you the importance of the industry, and I'm grateful.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Another awardee has stopped by to talk with us. He's Michael Young, and he's been in the industry for 51 years.
51 years.
Talk to us about what you're feeling tonight. What does this function mean to you?
Well, I'm feeling proud because tourism is our #1 industry. And where I work at the airport, I welcome the tourists in when they came in with their luggage, and when they're going out, I'm the last person to say bye-bye to them.
So you have a very critical role in terms of ensuring that people feel at home when they come and want to come back.
Right, and I operate on a tip basis. And whether I get money or not, I still give a smile and say, come back to Jamaica, man.
All right, talk to us about your journey in the industry. You say you work at the airport now, but that's where you've always been, or you've had different jobs?
Well, I do a little truth and tourism too, from the shipport now, because I'm not living back anymore now. I'm getting older. But I've been at the airport from there was 4 aircraft. 4 aircraft.
4 aircraft?
Right. And now you have over 35, 40 coming in per day.
Nice, nice. How has the tourism evolved in your eyes in terms of the product that we are offering here in Jamaica?
It's growing rapid. To what it started from, it's growing rapid. I am pleased. I passed the airport a while ago and I was happy to see the amount of planes on the ground and the amount of buses. And tourism is quick money. It's foreign exchange. It's the biggest industry in Jamaica. Quick cash.
You talk to a lot of tourists. So what do you think are some of the things that we can do better? As in some of the things that we can do to make tourists more comfortable, let them feel more safe, make them feel more welcome.
Tourists like a smile, and they like to be comfortable. They like to congratulate and ask them to come back to Jamaica and go the extra mile to do something. And everything is not money. Sometimes some tourists are poorer than I and you, but they come to Jamaica. And if you treat them nice, they'll tell somebody, they maybe tell the rich guy, come to Jamaica.
All right, congratulations again. And the word you're leaving with us is treat the tourists nice.
Yeah?
And keep smiling.
Smile, keep smiling. Welcome the tourists, treat them right, keep them safe, and they will come.
All right, wise words there from Michael, who's been in the industry for over 50 years. We're now speaking with Wordsworth Watson, and he's been in the industry for 65 years, all of 65 years.
Yes, sir, unbroken.
65 unbroken years. It just boggles my mind, and it's a wow for me to. So first of all, thank you for your contribution to the industry. And how are you feeling to be here tonight?
Extremely good, because in 1960 I went to a seminar down Casa Montego, and the lecturer was from UWI, and his remarks was that he was the brightest one in there, and anybody in the tourism sector are from the lowest category of the workers. And after that, Shearer realized that we were not being cared for, and he decided to start a program, but unfortunately he died before the program could get off the ground.
Talk to us a little bit about what does the tourism industry mean to you as an individual, and also as an individual being able to contribute to the growth of this wonderful industry from its infancy up until now.
Very good. It means so much to me. First thing, that's what made me to be what I am today. And secondly, it helped me to school my daughter overseas, give her one of the first class education in Canada at York University. And now she's doing a very good business in Canada. I'm feeling very proud, and again, to know that at my age, they still want me to be in the system.
All right, Mr. Watson, thank you so much. Thank you for your contribution to the industry, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
We're now speaking with Myrtle Dwyer, and she's another one of our awardees this evening. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
It's been such a special evening for you and your fellow awardees.
Awesome. For one, I never thought for a moment. I never expect awards. I do, and and whatever comes with it. So when I heard that I personally was being awarded this evening, I was like, that's impossible. I just happened to have been in tourism, did what I was supposed to do, and I'm enjoying it.
You've been in it for 50 years, so it must be something that you love.
Absolutely, it actually grew on me because came from the hills of Westmoreland to high school in Montego Bay High School to be exact, and Montego Bay was tourism, so we saw tourists walking up and down on the road. We were gracious and kind to them, and it became a part of me, and my curiosity led me into tourism, and it grew on me even further, and I studied the subject heading off to Germany in 1972 to study hospitality and tourism.
Jamaica has, sun, sea, sand, but a lot of other places have that. What do you think gives us the edge in the tourism industry?
Awesome. We're a nation of contrast. We're an island of diversity. And we're just a land of beauty with experiences to match every desire, every discerning client, every aspirational client, and every client who wants to come to Jamaica or thinks they need to get to Jamaica.
Now we know why you're one of the foundation members in the industry. Finally, just tell me, what does that mean to you to be one of the foundation members, one of the persons who helped to build the industry from where it was to where it's at now?
Actually, it's good because the times were tough. It was tough, one, being in the industry, working long hours, and two, being a woman. It was a man's industry. And so you had to contend with the men, and you had to contend with foreigners. And but you know what? It made me to be built of sterner stuff. And today my shoulders are broad, and I'm standing on the backs of a few others who came before me. But I'd love to have taught many who have gone on to be excellent women of industry.
And 50 years later, you have a real good legacy to look back on.
Absolutely, and I'm still going. Reinventing myself.
Still reinventing yourself. Thank you so much for talking with us. We take a quick break here from the Golden Tourism Day Awards here in Montego Bay. More after this break. Welcome back to Business Access Television's coverage of the Ministry of Tourism and the Jamaica Tourist Board's Golden Day Tourism Awards.
The idea, of course, of having an event like this was born out of a realization that tourism has, over the last 50 years, evolved into the most important industry in the world today. And many of you would not have known or even realized what you had been putting yourself to and the tasks that you were assigned and the outcomes that in time would ensue. When you started out in your various areas, some of you have transformed into many, many other things. Others of you have painstakingly stood your path and have served well with distinction in your preferred area. And as Martin Luther King said, you became the best of whatever you wanted to be. If you were a busboy, you became the best busboy that there ever was. And if you were a gardener, you became the best gardener that there ever was. And if you were a driver, you became the best driver that there ever was. And whatever it is that you were, you did it like Michelangelo did painting. And we're proud, very proud to have you. But I wanted to just reflect a little bit on the fact that 50 years ago, when some of you started, and there are many who have done more than 50 years. As a matter of fact, when I went through the schedule, I saw that there were very few 50 years. There were more 51, 52, 53, as far down as 67 years. Hello, 67 years. And I reflected a little bit on what happened when 50 years ago some of you started. And 50 years ago, 400,000 people came to Jamaica for tourism purposes. And they spent $87 million US. Last year, because of you and your 50 years and more, 4.3 million visitors came to Jamaica and spent $3 billion US. And this year, we are going to see pretty close to 4.4 million people coming, and they are spending 3.3 billion US dollars. In that same period, there were only 10,000 employees direct in tourism. Today, 120,000 people are employed in tourism because of you and your efforts. 50 years ago, we were not a factor in the GDP calculations. Today, last year, tourism contributed 8.4% of GDP because of your efforts. And I want you to recognize that we believe that the time is now right for us to look at this great industry that you've created and to build and create a new architecture that is going to ensure that the efforts and legacy of all of you is sustained in the constant development and the expansion and transformation of this country and the people of our country from poverty to prosperity. And we are excited about that prospect, as a result of which we have been putting together a number of new initiatives towards that effect. In the introduction to me, mention was made of the efforts that we initiated in my first iteration as minister with regards to the pension program for workers of the industry. And to the benefit of those who would not give a lot of thought to it, that process continued while I was in sabbatical with the new minister, and it was taken to a certain point. But that point which it was taken to was not sufficient for us to implement, because there were a whole range of difficulties that emerged as a result of the type of policy that we have sought to implement, one which had no precedent in either Jamaica or the world. Nobody else in the world has a tourism policy for pension like we are trying to introduce. Nobody. And consequently, we had concerns by the legal entities as to exactly what it was. The second concern was that we had to legislate. And it would have been the first policy to be legislated in terms of contribution, because all policies otherwise are voluntary, and so the contributions are made voluntarily. We are introducing legislation to make it compulsory for everybody who is working or employs people in tourism to contribute to this pension plan, to make sure that we can secure the future of the workers of this industry. And so we are not going to be driven by any feelings about how quickly it should happen. Yes, we want it to happen quickly, but we want to have it right. We want to get it right. And we want to make sure that at the end of the day, the workers, you who have worked for 50 years and over, and who have retired, can retire in the certain knowledge that there will be pecuniary rewards for you after you have left the companies that you work with. But one of the reasons that this particular pension plan is so unique and is different from all the others and cause a little bit of harder work and more detailed legal applications is that it's not confined to a single sector. And all the other pension plans relate to a particular sector or a company. This one we are trying to embrace all the areas that connect with tourism, so that the little man, the red cap at the airport will have a place in this pension plan. So that the craft vendor has a place in this pension plan. So the transportation sector, the Juta man and the Jekyll man, yes? And all the other transportation providers in Jamaica have a place in this plan. And also the attraction workers, the rafters. Yes, the rafters on the Rio Grande, and the rafters on Great River, and the rafters on Martha Brae. all will have a place in this plan. So this is an omnibus plan which will take into account all the connecting parts for tourism that has never happened before. And we have to get it right. And thank goodness we have a good team headed by Daisy Coke, who is doing a magnificent job, perhaps the best actuary in the entire Caribbean. We have the benefit of her services, and we are doing it right. And don't rush us too much. Let us get it right, and we'll have it for you before it's long. But we need to do something else, as you see we are doing. We're building out the capacity of our human capital to generate quality services that you have started during your 50 years. And you have had over the period not the opportunity to get formal training, some of you. And others of you have slaved and worked hard in the various fields without certification. And you have suffered the consequences thereof because you get passed over every time and new people come in from overseas to take your place. Well, in this new arrangement and the new architecture for tourism, we are training our people, we are certifying them. We have established the Jamaica Center for Tourism Innovation, which is a pathway institution to professionalize the workers of the industry. And already we have provided 450 workers with qualification from the American Hotel and Lodging Institute and the American Culinary Federation. And what that does is to say that the efforts that you have made over the years to build a workforce in the industry must never be taken for granted, and that the Jamaican worker henceforth must have his rightful place in a professional arrangement and get the recognition and the remuneration that fits his qualification and his abilities. Within that frame, earlier this year in September, we started the first ever program for high school students in hotel management. And so the fifth formers, as we know them, who now would go to sixth form, those 2 years between fifth form and when you graduate, an option is provided for you to get an associate degree in hotel management so that when you leave high school, you can go straight into the hotel and take a strong position as a worker. Not as a contract 3-month worker, but as a full-fledged worker within the industry. And so we are going to look at also the other levels of training that are taking place so that we put ourselves in a position where the workers of our industry can command respect not only at home, but anywhere in the world that they go because they would be certified. And the final area of that is that we are going to ensure that there is a labor market reformation, because the industry is no longer a seasonal industry where we work for 3 months or 2 months or 6 weeks and then you're gone and we close down. We are now an all year round industry where we are bringing up to 4 and more million people every year, and they are there every day. And so we have to look at those labor reform areas. So the next element of the development is how do we include the small and medium enterprises within the tourism industry to become a critical part of the value chain and also to be greater beneficiaries of the resources of tourism. And so we, Jamaica, little Jamaica, led the world in changing the way we look at small and medium enterprises. And we said to them, there is something called a small and medium tourism enterprise. Because these are the 80% of who constitute tourism in the world. But who only get 20% of the resources of tourism? Something is wrong with that, little Jamaica said to the UNWTO. And they have listened and agreed. And so we now have a situation where we are transforming that whole arrangement, where the liquor man who has been the hero of wood and drawers of water in tourism, will now have a place, and a place that can supply for him a future for his children and himself. And that's very important. And what did we do in that regard? We established a training program for you, but then we went to provide financing. And we put $1 billion in Exim Bank to be lent to you, the liquor man, at 4.5% per annum for 5 years. And you can borrow $5 million to $25 million to expand your liquor business, to grow your liquor business, and to convert your idea in something of material value that can give you economic returns. And that's another part of that strategy, to create economic empowerment for the small people who are involved in the tourism industry. And finally, I want to say to you that we look at how do we then change the way in which we have been doing tourism. And we have established a task force under Mr. Wilfred Bagaloo, who is a partner of Price Waterhouse and a very reputed and knowledgeable person in that field. And he has been working over the last few months, and I've been interviewing people from all over. And the purpose of which is for us to look at what is happening through the various mechanisms and protocols in the international trade. Things like the EPA and other such constructs. And to see how those are impacting and affecting our traditional and local entrepreneurs in the tourism sector. And the purpose of which is to redefine that process and indeed to establish a new architecture to enable our Jamaican workers and our Jamaican entrepreneurs to continue to become a vibrant and valued part of the tourism value chain. This is very important to us. Then we have to look at how we interact with the visitors. 50 years ago, we built a tradition in Jamaica of us being a nice, sweet, loving, huggy, kissy, friendly destination. Not true? And that has worked well for us. And it has given us 42% repeat business. But the world has changed in terms of how people think about those type of relationships. We have to learn that no is no. And understand that everybody who comes to our destination doesn't come for the same things. And to recognize that people come for all kinds of things, and to be prepared to make sure that we give what they need and what is required. So we are going to develop a whole new program of training and discourses and discussion about something that we're calling tourism ethics, which is the way in which we interact and relate to our guests in a manner which is friendly, yes, but is respectful of their particular personality and their human rights. And I wanted to make that point tonight because I know that there is something in the public space which has not worked well for us. The issues of sexual harassment and the issues of criminality that historically or otherwise might have been a feature. We are determined that the new architecture must see a Jamaica that rids itself of even the slightest perception on that matter. And so next year early, we're bringing in an international team headed by Dr. Peter Tarlow and a group called Global Rescue to work with us to structure and to develop a full new program of how we interact and we relate to international guests. This is very important. It's not going to do any harm to us. It's going to put us in a better place. And it is going to make the 50 years and more that you have given to this become golden years, in fact, on which Jamaica is going to continue to build and to become the best tourist destination in the world. God bless you, and thank you very much.
You're watching Business Access Television's coverage of the Golden Day Tourism Awards. More after this break. Welcome back. You're watching Business Access Television's coverage of the Golden Day Tourism Awards. We're at the Convention Center in Montego Bay, St. James. Time now for more highlights.
It's now time to move into the awards section of our function today. And we will be presenting the awards in batches with assistance from some special guests for the handing out. So let me invite first up Ms. Janet Taylor, Executive Director of Devon House, to present to the awardees who have served for 50 years. Can we give her a round of applause as she comes forward, please? Let's hear it for Noel Bailey. And so let's hear it for our second awardee, artisan, craft trader Kathleen Johnson. Craft trader Velma Parker. Next is Vinette Patton Faulkner, craft trader. 50 years, ladies and gentlemen. Also celebrating 50 years, Gloria Ricketts, artisan craft trader. Tour operator Judy Schoenbein. Also celebrating 50 years, water sports and hotel management, Ernest Smatt. 50 years as a craft trader. Let's hear it for Eunice Thompson, our next awardee. Our next awardee is ground transport operator Ralph Smith. Next, we invite Dr. Kerry Wallace, Executive Director of the Tourism Enhancement Fund, to present to awardees who have served for 51 years. First, in this lot, is Raft Captain Keith Allen. Next one up is Lloyd Davis, 51 years. "51 years for tour operator Myrtle Dwyer. Also 51 years for Hayden Fulcott, raft captain. Next awardee is craft trader Winifred Jones. Next on the list, though, is housekeeper Barbara Marsh, 51 years. Raft captain Leroy Miller is the next recipient of an award for 51 years. Another raft captain also with 51 years is Donald Morgan. Yet another raft captain, Euclid Richards, also celebrating 51 years. Next up is raft captain Jasper Roberts. And he is followed by raft captain Augustus Thaxter. And in this lineup of 51-year serving raft captains, we also have Owen Waugh. Ladies and gentlemen, the final of our 51-year awardees is Red Cap Porter Michael Sylvester Young. Mr. Young.
And we're now with Alan Daswani, and he's been in the tourism industry for over 60 years. Over 60 years. First of all, congratulations on being recognized tonight.
Thank you very much.
How does it make you feel to be among the awardees?
Oh, I think it's a great thing. I didn't expect so many people but there are so many awardees today from all the sectors. But I'm glad that the minister has organized for the Duty Free Association and recognizing the duty-free shopping. So,
Tell me a little bit about your tourism journey. It's been 60 years, so you must have seen a lot, and a lot has changed. So talk me through your 60 years in the industry.
okay, originally when I came, I started in the duty-free shops, but mostly my family, way back, has been involved in shopping. And our families that come from all the way back, all the names that ends with A and I, they all come from one sector. All doing mostly the shops business, and that's how we started. And when I, at my young days, when I was born, 8 years later, India was divided into 3 sections. One became Pakistan, the other one was India. Now, during the time when the Pakistan came, I had to migrate. Being a Hindu, I had to leave the country. So finally, I studied in India, went to the school, went one day to college, and that's it. For 1 year, I went to Africa. I was there for a year and a half in West Africa. But being in the trade, as a trader, I came to Jamaica. My cousins were here already. So they told me, hey, you come down to Jamaica. So we started our business in those years, and this was 1959.
All right, Alan Naswani, thanks for talking to us, and congratulations.
We're ready to move into the next set of presentations, and so we invite Ms. Joy Roberts, Executive Director for JAMVAC, to present to awardees who've served for 52 years. Give her a round of applause, please. For 52 years, Isilda Brighton. Our next awardee for 52 years of service is craft trader Iona Hales Murray. And our final recipient in the 52-year category is Bertram Wright, Ground Transport Executive. Celebrating 53 years, ground transport operator Sidney Bennett. Also celebrating 53 years, craft trader Myrtle Cargill. Hotel worker Owen Codlin is our next recipient, 53 years. Next is Frank Gilmore from the food and beverage category. We now move to 54 years. Let's welcome artisan craft trader Pansy Campbell. And we keep the applause going for Eulalie Downer, artisan craft trader, also celebrating 54 years. Winifred McFarlane, also celebrating 54 years as an artisan craft trader, ladies and gentlemen. Also celebrating 54 years, let's hear it for Fitzroy Miller, raftsman. With 54 years, raft captain Sidney Reed. The final of our 54-year awardees is ground transport operator Astley Shakes. First in this lineup with 55 years of service is ground transport manager Kirk Taylor. He is followed by, with 56 years of service, Bellman Donovan Anglin. With 57 years of service, we call on raft captain Uriah Samuels. With 58 years of service is artisan craft trader Dulcie Daly. Also with 58 years of service, craft trader Elgita Evans. Also with 58 years is craft trader Mavis Rose. Also with 58 years, craft trader Ronald Stevenson. The final of our 58-year awardees is ground transport operator Melvin Williams. 59 years as an in-bond merchant is a long time. Manu Daswani, congratulations. And the final of our 59-year awardees is ground transport operator Branford Marson.
Welcome back to Business Access Television's coverage of the first Golden Tourism Day Awards. Let's head on back over to the stage to see what's happening.
Ladies and gentlemen, these people have served for 60 years and some for more. The first of the group serving for 60 years as an in-bond merchant is Indru Dadlani. Serving for 60 years is craft trader Merdilyn Scarlett. Ground transport operator Percival Thompson. Serving for 60 years, ground transport operator Desmond Tomlinson. 60 years, bartender Herbert Teddy Tucker. 60 years, craft trader Aldith McFarlane. From hotel management, celebrating 62 years, Lionel Reed. We move from 62 to 65 years. Let's hear it for hotel worker Wordsworth Watson. And when we add 1 year to that, we get the 66 years of service of Elez Glenn. The final awardee with us this evening, 67 years, in-bond merchant Pishu Shandaram.
6 years after Jamaica gained its independence, Eunice Thompson joined the tourism industry. That was in 1968. So she's been honored at this function here this evening. Congratulations. How are you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling very happy to know that I can attend in spite of I got a sick foot, you know, and enjoy the tourism. I like my tourism and I enjoy the people them and the, you know, the tourists and everybody, black and white, everybody.
You know, I like how you say you like your tourism because I know it's people like you who encourage visitors and to come back and let visitors feel the warmth of the island. Now, talk to me about what it's been like for you in the industry.
Well, for me in this industry now, I gain a little money. I send my 10 kids to school, and I still have my business.
Just talk to me more about just how much tourism.
People. I meet movie stars, I meet doctors, and we correspond and so on in my time.
Well, Ms. Eunice, thank you so much for talking with us, and on behalf of the entire Jamaica, I want to say thank you for your contribution to tourism. Donovan White, thanks so much for joining us here on our Business Access TV coverage.
Sure.
Just sum up your feeling of the night for us.
No, this is fantastic. This is exactly what we wanted, what we hoped for. We hoped for a room filled with persons who have worked in industry. We awarded people from 50 years to 67 years. These persons have never been recognized before. They've given their lives to tourism and the industry of tourism. And so for us to be able to reward them in this way and acknowledge their service in this way is phenomenal. And the room was thrilled with just appreciation and gratitude.
We've built a tremendous industry, a very successful industry on the backs of a lot of these people. Just talk to me about that legacy.
Well, you know what? We don't grow without the work that these people have done. We stand today, getting 4.4 million visitors to come to Jamaica, earning $3 billion US. It's on the backs of the works of these people over the last 60 odd years. And so it is that's part of the reason why we've created Golden Tourism Day. And Golden Tourism Day is really a signifying, or really is intended to signify the start of the peak tourism season, where everything becomes in demand within the industry. And it is these persons that have continually given this kind of quality service to the industry over the years, why we can have these kinds of numbers. And so it is very significant and very timely, we believe, in relation to making sure that we don't continue to go and continue to grow and go and continue to do new things without acknowledging the presence and the work of these people over the years.
Let's talk about the new things and some of the younger workers now in the industry. Because speaking to these awardees tonight, a lot of them was like, it's just the warmth of the people and the smile and all that, why a lot of people came back to Jamaica. So how do we use the lessons from these individuals to help grow the industry and to help influence the younger people within the industry?
Well, you know what? Like everything else, time changes everything. And whilst we continue to be an in-demand destination and ranked as the world's best in many spaces, we have to continue to look at how we train our people, how we develop our people, how we develop our industry. We're continuing to grow, but we're also continuing to change. Technology is going to help us with a lot of that. But technology is only a piece of the puzzle, because at the end of the day, we're still in the people business. At the end of the day, it's still about the experiences that our guests and our visitors experience when they come to Jamaica that makes them go away and take the selfie and post it and tag it and make Jamaica go across the world virally. So we understand the world we're in, but we also understand that in the world we're in and that we're operating this industry in, that we have to continue to change and get better as well. Congratulations again to all 57 of our awardees tonight. They range from 50 years of service to 67 years of service. That's phenomenal. I saw some of these ladies and gentlemen going across the stage tonight, and you would never believe the age of which they are today and the number of years they have served this industry. And so I just want to say to them, congratulations again. You've earned this honor, and you will forever be remembered as the first set of tourism workers, 57 of them, that was awarded on Golden Tourism Day, which, by the way, will become an annual event on the 15th of December, if the 15th is a Sunday. And if it's not a Sunday, then the Sunday following the 15th will be that day. And so we want to ensure that people in the industry, owners, operators, stakeholders, understand that this is a day when everybody must come out and support the people on the backs of whom we have climbed to build this industry.
And we're now catching up with Inju Dadlani. He's one of the honorees tonight who has been in the tourism industry for over 50 years. But it goes further than that, because you said your father came here in the 1930s.
1932, and then they opened their business in Kingston. And then he was transferred in 1954 to Montego Bay by the Dadlani family.
Right.
And he went on his own in 1958 into fully tourism. And from 1958 till today, we never look back. We're always in the tourism. It's a different type of tourism we were in. We were in more souvenirs. We were in cloth. And today we are in luxury, high value watches and jewelry.
So your business has evolved and kept up with the time. As the market changed, your business changed?
Well, the market has changed. You have Amazon. You have a lot of competition in the U.S. Luxury. The millennials are not so luxury love. They will spend $3,000 on an iPhone versus $3,000 a piece of jewelry. I know, but we are adjusting. You know, we then have to pick it up in volume. We thank God that we have a dynamic minister pushing tourism to nearly 5 million tourists.
Being among the awardees here tonight, what does it mean to you?
It's an honor and a privilege.
All right, Mr. Dadlani, thank you so much. Congratulations to you and to your family because it's a family tradition.
My pleasure.
Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett joins us now. Mr. Minister Bartlett, welcome to BATV's coverage.
Thank you very much.
The first Golden Tourism Day Awards, just some of your feelings for me right now.
Well, first of all, when I had the idea of making the 15th, 16th of December the Golden Day and to inaugurate this Golden Award, I thought that we over time had celebrated this as the start of the winter season. And we no longer have winter season, summer season. We now have all year round tourism. But in the psyche of the Jamaican people, it's still the 15th of December or the 16th of December. And so we decided to do just that. Yes, make this date still be a critical part of the tourism calendar, but in fact for a different purpose, for the purpose of honoring those on whose back we stand in this great industry today. The growth that we have had over the last 50 years has been phenomenal. No industry in Jamaica has grown consistently the way tourism has, and with the future and potential for even more growth. For example, early next year, we're going to be breaking ground for 6,000 more rooms. We're talking about bringing new products in, casino gaming with its attendant value added of entertainment and shopping and sports and maritime activities. Now, all of this is going to create a new demographic into the destination. And then to build up air connectivity with new markets, with the LATAM coming from Peru. For this winter season, for example, it's 11 new gateways that we've opened with 125,000 new seats coming in for this winter. So what we're saying is that to pause and reflect on what we've been and the journey, and then to refresh ourselves as we create a new vista for the next 50 years.
One last word of congratulations to the awardees tonight.
Yes, I want to thank them. 3,025 years of accumulative work and contribution to this industry. We wonder what tourism might have been had these people not done what they did. And so words are not enough to convey our feelings about them and our love and appreciation for them. I just want to say to them, God bless you all, and thank you so much for your contribution.
And that brings us to the end of Business Access Television's coverage of the first Golden Day Tourism Awards. We're coming to you from the Montego Bay Convention Center in St. James. We hope you enjoyed our coverage. I'm Kenil Gale. Pleasant viewing.